Hi, this is Michael Portantiere, and I'm talking with Dave Lefkowitz of Dave's Gone By on UNC Radio.
On the 10th annual Total Theater Tony Special, Dave Lefkowitz here talking with another theater critic, someone I've known for a very long time, because he's been a journalist and a photographer for such venues as BroadwayStars.com, TalkinBroadway.com. You can read his stuff in the Sondheim Review, and bunches of other publications. He's Michael Portantiere. He's been with us before, and it's an honor to have him back again. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Dave.
So how did you like the season?
Not so much overall, really. Not one of the better ones, I would say, with, of course, some major exceptions.
That's been the general consensus, actually. A lot of people are pretty disappointed. There was quantity, but not a whole heck of a lot of quality, so they say.
Yes, and specifically, I would say in the areas of new plays and new musicals, those were really the areas that were really lacking. There were several excellent productions of revivals.
Well, we'll be talking about a few revivals, a couple of new musicals in your category, which is Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical. I'll read off the nominees. Those include Linda Emond. Is it Emond or Emond?
Emond.
Linda Emond in Cabaret, Lena Hall in Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Annika Larson in Beautiful, the Carole King musical, Adrienne Lennox, After Midnight, and Lauren Worsham, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. I may have mispronounced every single one of those, but go for it, Michael. What are your thoughts? Who will win, who you hope will win, etc.?
Linda Emond is a wonderful actress. She has done a stellar job in several things, most notably the play Homebody Kabul some years ago. One of her other most notable things was she was in the production of Death of a Salesman with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Andrew Garfield, etc. And here she's playing Fräulein Schneider in Cabaret, who is the older owner of the rooming house where Sally Bowles and then Cliff Bradshaw wind up staying. I have to say, this was one of those weird things. On the evening I attended, I felt that she was very, very much not into the role.
Oh.
It was an odd thing, because I've never... Well, actually, in Death of a Salesman, I thought she was wonderful throughout, and then for the final monologue, she gave a very, very understated reading, which I assumed had to be a choice, either of hers or the director, Mike Nichols. I thought it was the wrong choice. But that seemed odd to me, but it was a specific moment, and I thought it was just a choice. Here, although, ironically, Linda Emond displays an excellent singing voice in Cabaret, which I don't recall ever hearing her sing before. So that is not the problem, but she just seemed very disinterested in what was going on. Her accent seemed diffident. She seemed like the stakes of the story were quite low when they're extremely high. I mean, what happens is she falls in love with a Jewish man, but this is during the rise of Nazism, during the Weimar Republic in Berlin in 1931, and she basically has to end the relationship out of fear. And I can't really explain it. And I mean, I hate to say it. Maybe there was something on her mind that night. Maybe there was something unfortunate happening in her personal life.
Oh, so she was that flat, you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who...
Yeah, really, like almost, I would say, at times almost walking through it.
Yikes. Well, What about some of the other nominees for featured actress in a musical?
Well, Lena Hall was the exact opposite, a galvanic portrayal, and I think she will win it. And I would say that I hope she will win it, because she also gets to demonstrate tremendous versatility. She does the whole first section of the show in male drag, and very, very convincing male drag, I must say. And then she goes off at one point, and then she comes back in high glam, incredibly over-the-top feminine diva rock mode. And it's just thrilling, and then she gets to really show her voice in that section.
So is she also your choice of who you hope will win? Okay.
Yes, she's my choice, and I also think that she may well win it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the other nominees. Those include Annika Larson in Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, of course, there's always the apples and oranges thing. Annika Larson is completely wonderful and beautiful, the Carole King musical. She plays an actual person, Cynthia Wilde, the songwriter, and she does everything required, and she's very funny and very warm, and she absolutely would deserve an award. But it's like, how do you compare a role like that to some of these other roles, which are so much different, and some of them much more flamboyant and over the top? Adrienne Lennox, who I've been a fan for years, in the review after midnight, just this incredible job, of singing several really great jazz songs. There's no dialogue in that show, so I don't know if that would be something that Tony voters might consider, or if Tony voters look down on reviews in general.
And she only really has 2 or 3 solo numbers. She doesn't have a lot of time on stage to herself. So I think that, compared to some of these, which are almost leading roles.
That is correct.
I mean, Lena Hall is on stage the whole show. She's almost there as much as Neil Patrick Harris. So
yes, good point. That's another good point. She has showcased Adrienne Lennox in those 3 or 4. Maybe it's even 5 numbers. But yes, your point is taken. And
then you've got A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, where they chose Lauren Worsham. I'm sorry that they didn't pick Lisa O'Hare. I thought she was fantastic. But your thoughts?
I thought that was a little odd, too, but I guess I was a little surprised that either of the women in that show would be nominated, only because the focus is so not on them. It's really very, very much on the 2 male leads. So it's not that I'm saying that either one of them is not worthy in terms of talent or anything, but it's just because of the natures of the roles themselves, I was a little surprised that either one of them got nominated.
Well, last question for Michael Portantiere about the whole season itself. What was your favorite show on, off, or off Broadway?
Well, I'm going to have to go back to The Glass Menagerie, which was a superb revival, just really beautiful. I saw it 3 times. I saw it once up at ART in Cambridge, where it came from. And then I saw it towards the beginning of the run on Broadway, and then towards the end of the run on Broadway. I'll never forget it. It was just across the board, just superb.
Well, what is one particular reason you found it so unforgettable and superb?
It was the way in which everyone worked together in the ensemble. Every one of them was wonderful, but it was the sum of the parts, and obviously that has a lot to do with the director.
Cool. This show, this Tony Award special, is the sum of its parts. The wonderful critics that we talked to, including Michael Portantiere. Please read his articles and his reviews, and also see his photographs in places like BroadwayStars.com, Talkin' Broadway, and the Sondheim Review. Michael, last question. What are you going to be doing on Tony night? Are you going to be watching on TV, at a party, what?
I only went to the Tonys twice. I sat in the audience. The first year it was done at Radio City Music Hall when Rosie O'Donnell hosted years ago. And then I was in the press room once. But actually, I find neither experience as pleasant as just watching at a party with friends.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Well, enjoy the Tonys, enjoy the party with friends, and great enjoyment having you in the neighborhood on the Tony Show. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, David.
Bye-bye now.